Welcome to NFL Talk.
Okay.
Today we're diving deep into Jalen Ramsey and his former team, the Los Angeles Rams. It's quite a story: Super Bowl victory, then a surprising fall, a huge trade, and now this face-off on the field.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see everything unfold, especially with Ramsey playing against his old team for the first time since that trade.
Yeah, for sure. Seeing Ramsey back on that field against the Rams in Week 10, that was a moment, right? What's fascinating is even after such a dramatic exit and that intense game, there was still a lot of respect between Ramsey and his former teammate.
Definitely. You could see it when they interacted after the game. It does make you wonder, though, why the Rams traded him away in the first place. I mean, he was such a key part of their Super Bowl winning defense.
Let's rewind to 2022. The Rams are coming off that Super Bowl high, and then bam, they crashed down to a 5-12 record, the worst ever for a defending champ. What happened?
Well, that season was just a mix of bad luck and tough choice. They had a lot of injuries, and the salary cap was really... Ramsey's contract, though, well-deserved for a player like him. It was definitely a factor. Trading him freed up a lot of caps and allowed them to start rebuilding for the future.
So it was strategic, not personal.
Exactly. The Rams general manager Les Snead and head coach Sean McVay were very open about why they did it. They talked about needing a better cap situation on developing.
So they tore it down to build it back up. But isn't that risky? Trading a star like Ramsey could backfire.
There's always a risk, but the Rams were thinking long-term. They believed getting those draft picks and having more financial flexibility would set them up for success down the line.
And where are they now in the 2024 season? Have things turned around?
They're 4-5. Not Super Bowl contenders yet, but a big improvement from that disastrous 2022. And remember, they were on a 3-game winning streak before facing the Dolphins.
So there's hope.
Oh, yeah. The return of key players like Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua from injury has been huge for their offense.
Oh, yeah. Remember all those trade rumors surrounding Kupp?
Exactly. The Rams held on, and now they're benefiting from having him back.
Okay, so the offense is finding its groove, but they still lost to the Dolphins, even with Ramsey on the other side. What happened then?
That game was a bit of a head-scratcher. Their offense just seemed out of sync. They relied heavily on field goals and didn't score a single touchdown. Quite a contrast from those previous.
Yeah, that's not going to cut it against a team like Miami. Do the Rams coaches have anything to say about the struggles on offense?
Rams offensive coordinator Mike LaFleur admitted that finding consistency on offense is still a work in progress. They're definitely still working on finding that sweet spot and building on the momentum from that winning streak.
So even with the loss to the Dolphins, it seems like the Rams are in a better place than last year. But can this rebuilding plan actually work? Can they get back to the Super Bowl after trading away star players like Ramsey?
That is the million-dollar question. And that's what makes this whole situation so interesting. The Rams are walking a tightrope between short-term pain and long-term gain. We've seen their potential, but they still have a lot to prove.
And what better way to prove it than against their next opponent, the New England Patriots? They're sitting at a rough 3-7 record. So this could be the Rams' chance to bounce back and make a statement.
Absolutely. This game could be a turning point for the Rams. A win against the Patriots would be a huge boost for their confidence and their playoff hopes, but a loss, that would raise some serious doubts about their ability to compete.
So you're saying this Patriots game is a must-win for the Rams?
I think it's safe to say the stakes are high for both teams. But for the Rams, this game carries extra weight. It's a chance to prove they're on the right path, to show that their rebuilding strategy actually has merit.
And for you listening, think about this. The decisions the Rams have made, the players they've kept, and the challenges they face, it all comes down to this rebuilding phase.
It's a stark reminder that in the NFL, nothing is guaranteed. Even Super Bowl champs have to adapt and evolve to stay ahead of the game.
The Rams story is a testament to how much professional football changes. Strategic choices and player development can make or break a franchise.
It's a constant chess match, and the Rams are making bold moves. Only time will tell if their strategy pays off.
It's an exciting journey to watch unfold, and we'll be here to break it all down for you. But for now, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll dig deeper into the Rams' current roster, their offensive and defensive strategies, and their chances of making a playoff run. Stay tuned.
Okay. All right, so let's take a closer look at the Rams' current roster. They've definitely lost some key players like Ramsey, but they've also held on to some important ones.
Yeah, and getting Cooper Kupp back from that ankle injury has been huge. Just a reminder, he missed a big part of last season, and it really hurt the Rams' offense.
Absolutely. Kupp changes the game. He's one of the best receivers in the league. Having him out there opens up so many possibilities for the Rams' offense.
And he's not their only weapon. Puka Nacua, their rookie receiver, has been making a big impact too. He's a real threat downfield.
Nakua's emergence has been a great surprise for the Rams. They were hoping he'd contribute, but he's doing even better than they expected.
But even with Kupp and Nacua back, The Rams' offense still looked shaky against the Dolphins. They couldn't get into the end zone, and they relied way too much on field goal.
Yeah, that's definitely something to keep an eye on. They need to be more consistent on offense if they want to compete with the best teams. You can't just rely on field goals to win games.
So what needs to change? What are some key things the Rams' offense needs to focus on moving forward?
Well, first and foremost, they need to protect quarterback Matthew Stafford better. He was sacked 5 times against the Dolphins, and that kind of pressure just throws everything off.
Yeah, the offensive line has been a bit of a weak spot for them this season.
They also need to have a more balanced attack. They can't be so predictable. Right now, teams know they're going to try to get the ball to Kupp, so they're double-teaming him and taking him away as an option.
That makes sense. They need to find other ways to move the ball downfield.
Exactly. They need to get their running game going, utilize their tight ends more, and find ways to create mismatches for their receivers.
So there's room for improvement on offense, for sure.
Yeah.
But what about their defense? They lost a big piece in Jalen Ramsey. How are they filling that void?
It's a significant loss. No doubt Ramsey is one of the best cornerbacks. Replacing him is a tough challenge.
So who's stepping up?
They have a young cornerback, Kobe Durant, who's showing a lot of promise. He has the potential to be a shutdown corner, but he's still developing.
And they still have that veteran leadership with Aaron Donald on the defensive line.
Oh, Donald is a force. He's arguably the best defensive player in the entire league. He can single-handedly disrupt an offense.
But he can't do it all himself.
Of course not. The rest of the defense needs to step up and make plays. They need to put more pressure on the quarterback, create turnovers, and prevent those big...
All right, so we've talked about the Rams' offense and defense, but what about special teams? Any concerns there?
The special teams are often overlooked, but they can be so important in winning games. And the Rams have had some issues with their kicking game this year.
You're talking about that missed field goal against the Dolphins.
Yeah, that was a tough one. It could have changed the outcome of the game. They need to be more reliable in those crucial moments.
Okay, so we've covered the Rams roster, their offense, their defense, even their special teams. But what does it all mean? Do they have what it takes to make a playoff run?
That's a difficult question to answer. They definitely have the talent, but they need to find a way to play consistently.
So you're saying they're a work in progress?
Exactly. They have a lot of potential, but still a lot to prove. And that's what makes them so interesting to watch. You never know what you're going to get from them week to week.
That's true. They keep you guessing. But one thing's for sure, they're never boring. As we head into the second half of the season, their story is only going to get more interesting.
Absolutely. The Rams are a team to watch. They could surprise a lot of people, or they could fall short. Only time will tell.
So that brings us back to the big question. Can the Rams' rebuilding strategy actually...
Yeah, they traded away a superstar in Jalen Ramsey, banking on the idea that they could build a contender through the draft and smart free agents.
It's a strategy that has worked for other teams, but it's not a sure thing.
Right. And it's going to take time to see if it pays off for the Rams. They've had moments of brilliance this season, but they haven't been consistent.
That win streak before the Dolphins game was definitely encouraging. But that loss to Miami raised some concerns. They need to find a way to be more consistent on both sides of the ball.
And they need to stay healthy. Having Cooper Kupp back has been huge for their offense. But they're still vulnerable to injuries, especially with so many young players.
And don't forget about the pressure on Sean McVay. He's a young coach who's already won a Super Bowl, but now he's facing a different challenge, rebuilding a team that's lost some of its biggest stars. It'll be interesting to see how he handles this rebuilding phase. Can he adapt his coaching style to a younger, less experienced roster?
And can he keep that winning culture he built during the Rams' Super Bowl run?
Those are questions that only time will tell. But one thing is for sure, the Rams are a team in transition. Their journey back to the top is far from...
So for those of you listening at home, keep your eyes on the Rams. They're a team that could surprise us all, or they could fall short of expectations. Either way, it's going to be exciting.
Absolutely. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, and I hope you have a better understanding of the Rams' current situation and what their future might hold.
We looked at why they traded Jalen Ramsey, the challenges of rebuilding a Super Bowl contender, and the key players and storylines to watch as the season goes on.
Now it's your turn. What do you think? Do you believe in the Rams' rebuilding strategy? Can they get back to the Super Bowl with this new approach?
Those are the questions we'll leave you with. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Goodbye and see you in the next video.
Goodbye and see you in the next video.